Hey, friends, welcome back to Chat with Nat Conversations That Count. If you've listened to my podcast for any amount of time, you know that caregiving for my mom, that journey became a huge part of my life and ultimately a huge part of who I now am. For nearly 4 years, caring for my mom wasn't just something I did, it became my calling. There were doctor's appointments, medications, hospital stays, sleepless nights, hard decisions, moments of laughter, moments of heartbreak, and thousands of ordinary moments that most people will never see. And then there were the people who walked into our home. Today, this episode is for them. This is my love letter to our home health and hospice teams. When people hear the word hospice, they often think it means giving up. I know several years ago, that's what I thought. Before I started this journey, before I connected with other caregivers who were on the hospice path already, I didn't understand that it's not just something that happens at the very end, although for our family, it did step in towards the end. But the truth is, none of us knew how quickly mom would go. Many people that I interact with, many people that are caregivers, their person has been on hospice for an extended period of time due to care that they need and comfort that can be provided. For us, hospice is where peace began. But before hospice, we had home health. Incredible nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, aides, social workers, people who came into our home carrying not just equipment and medical knowledge, but kindness. They brought joy. They brought an uplifting, light spirit into a home that often felt heavy with hard things to handle. They taught me, they encouraged me, they celebrated victories with us. When I questioned myself, they reminded me I was doing better than I thought. When I cried, they didn't rush me. When I felt exhausted, they saw it before I could admit it. They reminded me that caregivers need caregiving too. And then came hospice. I remember wondering up to the point that myself and my family made a decision it was time for hospice, that if I made that call, was I failing my mom? Was I giving up on her ability to maybe do some things? But instead, it became one of the greatest gifts we ever gave her, and one of the greatest gifts anyone has given me. Because hospice didn't take over my role, they made it possible for me to keep being her daughter, which was and is the most important role I could have for my mom. When you become a caregiver, that becomes your persona. You're always looking for what to do next. You're checking timers, you're watching water intake, food intake, things like that. And you often don't have the time to sit and just be the daughter, the sister, the spouse, the parent, or the child of the person you're taking care of. Hospice made sure mom's pain was controlled. They answered questions at all hours. They prepared us for things no book ever could. They explained what was going to be happening before it happened. And somehow, knowing what was coming didn't make it hurt any less, but it made it a little less frightening. Fear lives in the unknown. And when you have a person that you know is declining and will be passing at some point, there can be a lot of fear attached to that. Having nurses that could explain to me what things look like, what to expect, and timelines took that fear away. Hospice replaced that fear with understanding. I'll never forget the nurse who gently told me, "You're doing everything right." I needed those words more than she'll ever know, because every caregiver wonders, did I miss something? Did I lose my patience too easily? Should I have done more? Am I enough? Sometimes we don't need someone to solve our problems. We just need somebody to remind us that we're carrying the problems well. Hospice and home health both celebrated my mom. They didn't see just her diagnosis or her medications. They saw her. They learned her name. They talked to her even when she couldn't answer. They brushed her hair, adjusted her blankets, held her hand, and spoke to her with dignity. They never treated her like her diagnosis. They treated her like someone's special mother, because she was mine. And they cared for my dad too. They understood that after nearly 60 years together, he wasn't just watching a person decline, he was saying goodbye to the love of his life. They made room for his tears. They answered his questions, and they honored his grief before grief officially began. And then there was me, the caregiver, the daughter, the nurse, the scheduler, the medication manager, the advocate, the exhausted one, the strong one, the one who sometimes didn't feel strong at all. They reminded me to take time for me, to eat, to sleep, to leave the room occasionally, to breathe, to accept help. I wasn't always good at that last one, but they never stopped offering. And at times they actually took over things, not in a way that pushed me out of the room, but that gave me that chance to breathe, to step out of the room, and to trust that my mom was in capable, kind, and loving hands of somebody that could provide for her as good, if not better at times, than I could. People often tell caregivers, I don't know how you do it. And the answer is, we don't, at least not alone. And you shouldn't. Home health and hospice became a part of our family, not because they shared our last name, but because they shared our burden. And so many of the professionals that step through the doors to our home are saved in my phone. They will be a part of our lives for a long time to come. They've become friends. They've become family. And they created connections, not just with my mom, who they were here to care for, but with myself and with my dad. And for that, we'll forever be grateful and forever be tied together. For a little while, they carried pieces of what we were carrying right alongside of us. And that creates a bond that I can't even fully explain. There's one memory I'll treasure forever. During Mom's final days, I realized something had quietly changed. But because of the incredible care surrounding us, I wasn't spending every minute worrying or wondering or trying to anticipate the next crisis. Instead, I got to sit beside her, hold her hand, rub lotion on her arms, tell stories, play music, whisper how much I loved her. I got to become more daughter and a little less caregiver. And that is such an incredible gift that was given to me. Because once somebody is gone, you don't remember every medication. You remember every moment. Hospice gave me more moments. So to every nurse, every aide, every therapist, every social worker, every chaplain, every volunteer, every person who chooses this work, thank you. You walk into homes on some of the hardest days that a family will ever experience. You bring calm into chaos, knowledge into uncertainty, compassion into heartbreak. You don't just care for patients, you carry families. You help people leave this world with dignity, and you help those left behind live with fewer regrets. That is holy work. If you're listening today and you're facing the decision about home health or hospice, please don't let fear keep you from accepting them. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's making room for more love. And if you're a caregiver, hear me when I say this. You were never meant to carry all of this by yourself. Let people love you. Let people support you. Let people serve you. Because someday you'll look back like I do now and realize the greatest gift wasn't that they cared for the person you loved. The greatest gift was that they cared for all of you. I look back now and oh my gosh, every time we had somebody come into our home, they were a blessing, a light, and a joy to have spend time with us. We were so blessed with our home health team that I had to eventually tell them, look, as my mom continues to decline, when you think it's time for us to shift to palliative care and or hospice, I'm going to need you to let me know. Because I just loved the way they worked with my mom. And honestly, when you're a caregiver, you're hanging on as long as you can for whatever your person can still do. And I look back now and I do think, gosh, We could have started hospice earlier. We could have started hospice a couple months before my mom's passing when she went bedbound, I think. But they were still doing stretching. They were still evaluating her eating and swallowing and those kind of things that were my biggest concerns. And so until a couple weeks before my mom's passing, I hadn't sat with my family and said, hey, I think it's time for hospice. And ironically, the Sunday night I did that was the night before my mom's last hospital admission. And we made the decision it was time to go to hospice. And then the next day, mom goes into the hospital. They're able to have hospice come. We're able to get everything set up and lined up. So the minute my mom was discharged that Wednesday afternoon, we came home to everything being set up that we needed. An amazing nurse showed up about an hour later and walked us through what hospice was going to look like, what time frames looked like, what her thoughts were, questions were, concerns were, brought her up to speed. We asked a million questions. We were given confidence, clarity, and compassion. So do I think I could have brought hospice in sooner? Yes. I also think our story was beautiful and just what it was supposed to be. But if you're putting off home health or hospice because you don't want to give up on your person, or because you think that somehow means you're failing or you're not doing enough, you couldn't be more distant from the truth. You couldn't be more wrong. These are the people that will allow you to breathe, that will allow you to be there for your person in the role that you have in their life, not just as a caregiver. They will give you the opportunity to step back for a little while, trusting that somebody that's capable and caring has your loved one in their hands. To our home health team, to our hospice family, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for helping us walk my mom home. We will never forget you, and I look forward to staying connected. And God bless every one of you in these roles that steps into the homes of families all across the United States, all around the world. The gift you give families can never be repaid. And I hope you know that you are seen, you are loved, and you are appreciated beyond measure. Again, we will never forget you.